Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Thursday, the 1st of February. These are the charts of the day. Well, quick look at the indices. You can see that the market came down, had a rising wedge right at resistance, couldn't get through, came down on a three-wave corrective, pretty good hit. At the end of the day, they did bounce. Same thing on the S&P. A bit of a rising wedge right at resistance at 2835 area, came down on a three-wave corrective. This one held yesterday's lows. The NDX did not. So there wasn't a confirmation per se on from the Nasdaq, from the S&P 500 confirming this new low in the Nasdaq 100 yet. Looking at the hourly chart, you'll see the left shoulder head, right shoulder formation. This certainly looks like a top. The slightly rising trend line, neckline there, I should say, was broken, but the lateral price support right there was not. So we're going to have to wait. The jury's still out to see what tomorrow brings. Nevertheless, this does look like a topping pattern. It might be complete. The NDX is also, S&P is also in a falling wedge per se, and that has a slightly declining shoulder line and neckline. So, anything through today's lows around the 28.13 area is going to be dangerous. I was looking for 28.1820. We broke that, but we snapped back. So now it's 28.13 and then 28.08. Those two, that zone here, we break that, we're probably coming down. Let's go to the charts of the day. Chinese farm and construction equipment manufacturer CNH has been in a beautiful rising channel, and today it popped for 80 cents or 5.5%, but it broke out. It looks to me like it's headed towards around the 17, 16.5, 17 range short term, but on a longer term basis, it might be a lot better than that. There's almost 8 days short to cover. Swing trade CRC, after the dip it took recently, came right down to this internal trend line and bounced sharply for $1.82 or 8.5% today on 1.8 million shares, decent volume. We'll see if there's a follow-through. The resistance right about this double top of 25, we get to that, it's 28 and 34. And for those who are interested in protecting yourself, the stop would have to be under yesterday's low, which would put it around 20.5 underneath that. Constellium also, after breaking out through the October highs and pulling back right to it, tested it again and then snapped back. I like that look. Looks to me like that's your new trend line. And I think that aluminum stocks with the infrastructure in play at this point, we may see aluminum, metals, etc. stocks run. My target's near 18 on this one. Etsy. Well, I'm looking at this as a beautiful falling wedge kind of flag pattern with good technicals. If you look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, I think we got one more wave coming up to the mid-20s. Keep an eye on this one. EZPW, major breakout today, and it did it with strong volume. So the 2-month consolidation paid off. Right now it looks like it's headed up towards 15. 17.5 days to cover, last number we had. FENG. Right at the apex of a 2-month coil. If that's a long 1, 2, 3, 4, I think we got a possibility that if this pops, especially if it takes out 750, it may run to 10 and even 11 up in that area. Well, data storage company GDS has been doing great since its IPO here. Actually, since the IPO, it based out for almost a year and then took off. Right there was the breakout day, then a consolidation. As the moving averages crossed over and moved up. From that level, around 10, this thing's moved to 31. So it's more than tripled, and yet I don't see any top just yet. It looks to me like it's accelerating, so I look at mid-30s as my next target. GSUM, 4 days in a row in a lousy market. That's a good sign, that's for sure, relative strength. It did pop to a new high at almost 14 today. Right there, 13.99, it backed off. But I'd watch this one going forward, because if we get through here, you can see what this high was, 13.94. So this is literally, by a few cents, the highest level we reached since December 2016, about a year and a quarter. At this point, my next target is 16 going forward. Iovance is going almost vertical, similar to what it did here, but it then spent a few months consolidating. It might have to do that again. My target's 18, only on momentum alone. MRTX swing trade doing great ever since it popped and pulled back here. This thing's really trending nicely. And at this point, it's forming a beautiful bull tightening coil here, which I think would be resulting in a breakout and a run to the low 30s, 30, 31 range, and then beyond. MTOR, yesterday I showed you the breakout. Today was a beautiful follow-through day. I still think we're going to see 34 in the stock. Beautiful chart. Mazor Robotics broke out as well, followed through today. Nice jump of about 315, or about almost 5%. But that breakout at this point probably has it heading up towards 80. Keep an eye on this. 12 more points. Nectar incredibly has reached 90 from our swing trade at 25 3/4 in November. Pretty powerful chart. At this point, it looks like it's 250% up in 90 days. That is pretty huge. And I'm not sure where this stops, but right now momentum is incredible in it. Probably get to $100. OTEX major breakout out of a long 1.5-year type base pattern within a large rising channel. You can see this may be ready to make a run at the 48.50 range up there. And by the way, there is, according to this, over 17 days to cover. Quinn Street, what a pop. First of all, we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then this. So this is a 1 and 2. Wave 3 started with a bang today and huge volume. I'm looking for 17. Well, Ferrari's been incredible with that symbol. It certainly raced up the chart, didn't it? From a low 2 years ago, excuse me. In February, it was 33 of 2016. It was 33, it's 128, almost a 95-point run up. And yet, today was a breakout to new highs. I'm looking for 135 and 150 or better. Shutterfly with a monster breakout from a large consolidation range, which has taken about 5 years to develop. Today was a major breakout. Looking at the long-term chart, you can see this could run to 90 or 100, etc. Beautiful move, 14 days to cover. The shorts were screwed today. Teva, love that long-term look after it came down and reversed. You can see that it's running up the angle at a 45-degree angle from about 1085. It reached 22 and change with something more than 100%, and now it's flagging. Today it popped a little bit. I put a swing on it. I think it's going to break out and run to 26 and 32. Twitter. Well, I almost put a swing on this one. I'm going to pull back and then bounce, but it didn't. This stock certainly looks like it wants to move higher. My targets are 32 and 38 now. There and there. Viking Therapeutics may be completing the flag. We'll see. It's only been in a 4-day kind of consolidation. Really good technicals, though. I like that. If this gets through 6 1/4, your targets are 7, 8, and 10. XYL. I haven't done much with this all year. What a move, huh? 46 to 75, and it's in a nice, steady, slow rising channel. It looks like it might be accelerating. I'm going to look for 80, 85 range. And finally, on the long side is ZapGen, which really is powering ahead. After breaking out and pulling back the flag, a 2-day pop may get this to 8 1/4-ish coming up. Let's look at some of the longs. Just a few shorts I want you to take a look at. Some of our swing shorts to update you on them. AGX. Looks like that wedge is breaking, and the stock may roll over. If it does roll over and take out 41 1/4, 41 3/4, excuse me, we should see 36 and maybe even 31. ALB, that rolled over and unable to bounce more than a day. This stock looks like it wants to head down a first 1023 and then down to about 88, 90. BITA is rolling over after getting smashed in November. It rallied for a couple of months, got to the declining tops line, or at least what it looks like the declining tops line to me. And at this point, the rollover is beginning, it looks like. My targets are a retest of 28, and then down around 21, 22 zone. And finally, Trade Desk really rolled over today, although after getting down to support at today's low at 43.43, and this low was 43.44. How about that? Almost an exact double bottom. It did bounce a little bit, but it was still down 265 or 5.5%. I think it's going to eventually go lower, and I'm looking for 36. That's the long and short of it tonight, folks. Have a good evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Let's make some money.